I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Time to rise and grind.
Are you kidding? Smoke!
And let's get this banter going.
It's bacon!
This is Snowman in the morning.
Does anybody else feel like a fried egg?
And it begins now.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell at a chair.
He did what? Has anybody ever told you you have a serious impulse control problem?
There is but one cause for me to follow. Almighty the bum!
And here we go.
Oh, yeah!
Right circle, it's Krug. High slot, Pasternak. Settles the puck. Right of the net, fired, they score! Bottom of the right wing circle, Brad Marchand blistered one home. That goes top shelf, a power play goal. 1-0 Bruins. And now DeBrusque battling in the far corner with Pietrangelo. DeBrusque, far side, squeezed it up top. Carlo, wrister, Binnington, they score! Brandon Carlo celebrates. He bounced in a wrister from the far point. It squeezes through Binnington. Bruins 2, Blues nothing. Krejci's got it. Everybody gets back on side. Krejci, right circle, Kuhlman, wrister, he scores! Carson Kuhlman, just inside the near post, over the blocker hand of Jordan Binnington, make it 3-0 Bruins. Gloved by Binnington, he puts it down and the horn sounds. The Boston Bruins roar in front of the St. Louis Blues with 4 goals in the third period. Rask was terrific. The penalty killer's magnificent. And the Boston Bruins have forced a Game 7 on Wednesday that'll take place at TD Garden to decide the Stanley Cup.
Good morning, and welcome to the Manic Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning, brought to you in part by McDonald's of Terre Haute. Use the code MCDS19 in your Uber Eats app and receive $5 off your very first order. This offer is good until the end of. We're also presented by Game Day Guide, providing sports fans the travel capabilities and ticket essentials to support their favorite team while they play under the pressure of away games. Remember, there is no such thing as an away game with Game Day Guide. Visit them online at game-day-guide.com. And damn it, I think I might have solved the video issue. We're going to run with this as I'm using a program, and we're going to go as long as we can. And if it doesn't work, then what I will do is recalibrate and get things set up to run it the regular way. But this is what we're seeing right now, and thank you to WBZ for those clips. You heard it right. There will be a 7th game in the Stanley Cup final as the Bruins put up 4 unanswered goals in the third period. Brad Marchand was terrific. Tuukka Rask was terrific. You heard the calls of courtesy of WBZ. Their penalty killing, absolutely awesome. And St. Louis will have to wait. If they're going to win the Stanley Cup, they're going to have to do it on the road. 5-1 your final from Enterprise Center in St. Louis. The Cup will be in the building on Wednesday night, as you will see glorious words ever mentioned in team sports. Those 2 words are Game 7. Yes, indeed, a 7th game. Wow. Wow and wow. And this is a Boston Bruins team that a lot of St. Louis fans left for dead after St. Louis picked up a win in Boston, went up 3-2, but you have to win 4 to win the Cup. And they haven't won 4 yet. They'll decide that on Wednesday night. They're not the only team the Blues and the Bruins are not the only team facing elimination. The Golden State Warriors are facing elimination from the World Championship Series. Game 5 is tonight at Jurassic Park, called Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario. We'll get into all of that. Debate will join me at the top of hour 2 to talk all things NFC West. Oh, boy. I tell you what, so far, and this is where I want to start because I have been wanting and dying to incorporate some video, and I didn't know how I would be able to do it. As my buddy Jim Craven has joined our Facebook Live feed, I know it's the missing piece of the puzzle in terms of really taking this show and blowing it up and really putting it out there for the people not only to hear but to see. It's the 21st century media that I have talked about for so long, because when I got into this, I was all audio. And a very dear friend of mine said, stay away from video. It'll be too much. It'll be too much production. Well, I decided, you know what? The hell with it. I was given some advice from some friends up north in Northwest Indiana saying video's the way to go, man. And you have to find a way to incorporate it or you will never get as many advertisers as you'd want to get. Well, after thinking about it and playing around with it and thinking about it and playing around with it, as you guys see me, I'm live at Starbucks here in Terre Haute. After thinking about it and playing around with it and thinking about it and playing around with it and playing around with it and failing at every turn, I discovered a setting on my program that has not made this thing crash as of yet. It is held up, and I know I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right now, as and I know part of the problem when I switch monitors, I know I'm going to have to get a faster laptop. I realize that. I know I'm going to have to get a better microphone setup, as this belongs to my daughter, and I can't keep borrowing it forever because she's got her own computer stuff that she wants to do. She wants to host a gaming show online, and I wish her nothing but the absolute best in doing it. And funny, as we're just going right along, and in formatting the show, I figured I'd use the opening to tell a funny story to get everybody ready, tell everybody what's on tap for the show. I was doing this in the home studio, and I wondered, how can I didn't have a mic stand available to me at the time. So what I did, I got a bunch of my wife's books and my wife's DVDs, stacked them all together, and I put the regular microphone that I had on top of it. My daughter looked up and said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "The way I don't have a microphone for 2 hours." She said, "Hold on a minute." She went into the equipment room and pulled out this stand, and she says, "Here, you can use this until the fall." So that gives me plenty of time to get the toys that I need. And I want to tell baby girl, I hope y'all like the setup. I'm running with it as far as I can, and we're going to improve this and add this as a weapon. So thanks for listening to me ramble for a few minutes. We're going to get down to business here in a few moments as we will take a break. And when we come back from said break, the Toronto Raptors are one win away from clinching the NBA World Championship Series. I think I have a reason why. I have a reason why they can do it and a reason why they won't do it. What the hell do I mean, you ask? I'll explain when y'all get back. Snowman in the morning, audio and video, coming at you in a deuce.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
Next!
Me, what's up, Doc?
I forgot I was on. Rolling right along on this Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning, coming to you live from Starbucks of Terre Haute, Indiana. Glad to have you with us as, yes, we have pictures for you as well as audio. And speaking of McDonald's of Terre Haute, if you use the code MCDS19 in your Uber Eats app, you get $5 off of your first order. Okay, let's get to the subject at hand. And I'm going to start this segment by apologizing and the Toronto Raptors. Why am I making this apology? Because I completely undersold you guys. I was wrong about the Toronto when they reached the NBA World Championship Series. I didn't show them enough love, if any. And they lead 3-1. The facts are these. Toronto's defense is a savage defense, and it's led by one Kawhi Leonard. I showed him no respect at all, and I'm changing that right now. I was so wrong about Kawhi Leonard. I realized that. I stupidly thought this would be a short series. Well, hell, if Toronto wins a short series, what the hell am I talking about? But it begins and ends not with Kawhi Leonard, but with Nick Nurse. You see, I didn't show any kind of respect to Coach Nick Nurse either, because he has pushed every single button to halt this Warrior Express. Now, granted, the Warriors are banged up. They played a game without Klay Thompson. They've been minus Kevin Durant in the Houston series, but damn it, no excuses. No excuses whatsoever. The Warriors had a chance to swipe game one on the road. They were in games 3 and 4 before the game 4, especially when the Warriors, for the first time in this series, led at the half. And then 37 third-quarter points later, the Raptors seized control and have done something only the Cleveland Cavaliers have done during this dynastic run of the Warriors. Beat the Dubs twice in Oakland. Remember, Cleveland did that 3 years ago, games 7. And, hey, there's no stimulus package given to this Toronto Raptor team, and there's no stimulus package necessary for this Toronto Raptors. And if you want to be the Kings, you have to beat the Kings. And I've always said, until a team beats the Warriors 4 straight times, shut up. Well, Toronto's on the verge of doing it, and I have no qualms about it. I have no problems with it. I'm not sitting here sulking. Yes, I'm a Warrior fan, but I'm also a fan of teams that play great fundamental basketball, and the Toronto Raptors have done just that. They have beat the Warriors at their own game, slicing to the basket, kicking out for threes. The Raptors made more free throws in game 4 than the Warriors attempted. 24-21. The Raptors were 24 of 26 from the free throw line. They're called free throws for. It's rare that you see the Warriors miss 7 free throws. But the Raptors getting to the foul line is the Warriors undoing, I should say. Teaching, not getting back on defense, not communicating on defense, a rarity for Golden State. But Toronto has sliced and diced the Warriors to shreds, to the point where they are 1 win away from clinching and snatching the NBA World Championship. So the Toronto Raptors, I know the series is not over, but Big says something, says a lot. And man, I cannot be more proud of a team that is about to prove me wrong. Now, there is a possibility, let's just throw this out there. There is a possibility that the Warriors could pull off, naturally, what the Cleveland Cavaliers pulled off with a stimulus package. And yeah, I'm taking a lot of pot shots. I'm taking a lot of pot shots because y'all know what went on in that series, but I digress. There is a possibility that the Warriors could execute a 3-1 comeback. They've done it before, but they were fully healthy and they had a longer bench in 2016 when they wiped out a 3-1 lead against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the other mitigating circumstance is the Warriors had home court advantage in that series. That, of course, was the Western Conference Finals. But, damn, I never thought I would see the Warriors fall apart so dramatically, at least for 2 games at home, after they had a miracle shot from Andre Iguodala to steal Game 2. Man, oh man, give credit where credit is due, give love where love is due, and I'm doing just that. The Toronto Raptors so far have made a liar out of me. And you know what? They get all the credit in the world. Now they need to seal Game 5. Let's take a break. Need to seal up Game 5 tonight. They need to win the World Championship tonight. They need to put an end to this series tonight. I'll tell you why, and I will tell you also why they shouldn't let go. Jurassic Park is going to be a nut house tonight. And again, when we get back, I'll tell you why they need to close this out tonight. And I got a couple of reasons. Snowman in the morning, back in a flash.
Snowman in the Morning. True Sports Talk Live.
Did you not get the memo? Holy on smoke!
On the first hour of Snowman in the Morning, glad to have you all with us. This portion presented in part by Game Day Guy, providing sports capabilities and ticket essentials. Wait a minute, did I just see a Wisconsin Badger fan walk by me? Never mind. Snowman Guy, providing sports fans the travel capabilities and ticket essentials to support their favorite team while they play under the pressure of away games. Remember, there is no such thing as an away game with Game Day Guide. Visit them online at game-day-guide. In the last segment, I gave all kinds of love to the Toronto Raptors. Up shop tonight. When you're up 3 games to opportunity to close out in 2016, but failed to do so. Toronto has 3 shots for a title. Take this one tonight. You're playing against a Warriors team that is banged up. You've been defensively sound. And this is where I focus why Toronto needs to put this team. And I'm not saying this to be facetious. I'm saying this as a sports fan and a sport. What is going on? You don't want to allow a team as popular, as good to watch, but as banged up as the Golden State Warriors any room to breathe. You don't want to allow them any kind of space. The Raptors have been absolutely phenomenal at taking away the airspace of the Warriors shooters, and I mean the Splash Brothers in particular. They've made Boogie Cousins basically non-existent in the past 2 games. Cousins has not been the defensive force or the force that he was when he started game 2. I would expect a switch in the starting lineup tonight to get Andrew Bogut some minutes and let Cousins come off the bench. But kudos also to the Golden State Warriors. The series ends tonight. Is the dynasty over? No. Okay? Keep that in mind. The dynasty is not over until this team breaks up, and I don't see them breaking up. Now I get to drop this. There's a possibility. This is why the Raptors need to put the Warriors away tonight, and get the Warriors thinking about their defense and what they're going to do through the offseason and everything like that. Kevin Durant has been cleared tonight. Early sources have told me that Durant will go. And if he goes, he presents a major league problem to the Raptors. Now, just because Kevin Durant is possibly in the lineup tonight does not guarantee a victory for the Warriors. Think about this carefully. Durant's timing could be off. He's not in game shape. He hasn't been running up and down the floor and keeping up with everybody the way that he needs to. It's that DeMarcus Cousins had when he came back from his horrific injury. Speed dictates what kind of Kevin Durant that you'll see. For him being out since the West semifinals against the Houston Rockets. Game speed. And the first few minutes, because you have to believe that Durant will be inserted into the starting lineup tonight to give the Warriors the boost that they needed to get back in this series. I said at the top of the series that they wouldn't need Durant to beat Toronto. That is now a lie. And Toronto has proven me to be a liar, as I said a segment before. Durant is desperately needed. And to use a reference that my buddy Chris Dietz used, Durant is like Superman for the Justice League. If there was ever a time the Warriors needed Durant to ride to the rescue and seal his legacy, here it is. But you want a healthy Kevin Durant. You don't want a Durant that's 70 or 80%. You want a healthy Kevin Durant if you expect to play 1 or 2 extra games after this one. Durant is that kind of player that can bring the team back from the brink of elimination and bring him to glory. So what kind of Durant will we see tonight, should he play? The official decision has not come down, and I don't think it will come down until game time. But I will say this. With Klay Thompson returning to the lineup from his injury, provided an early boost for the Warriors, they just couldn't carry it through. Just couldn't carry it through. And, again, give credit to that savage Toronto defense in solving Golden State. That third quarter push, including a 20-6 run at the end of the third period to stretch the lead. Toronto just needs to keep playing the way that they are playing. And I know some people are like, hey, you didn't show Cleveland this kind of love when they were coming back. You're damn right I didn't, and I won't. Because of some chicanery that happened. And I will always 3-1 comeback by LeBron James and the Cavaliers. Because they were granted, in the words of a famous sports talk host, a stimulus package beyond belief. I will never, ever, ever, ever give the Cavaliers the credit for coming back from a 3-1 deficit because of all the chicanery that ensued after Game 4 of that World Championship Series. Ever. I don't care what people say to me. I don't care how they say it to me but they did pull off the comeback. No, they didn't. The NBA pulled off that comeback, not the Cavaliers. And a few times over. But if need be, I will explain it again, but I'll do it in a different show. But Toronto must finish the Warriors tonight. They must finish tonight. Because if you allow the Warriors to breathe, and if somehow the Dubs swipe Game 5, they will swipe Game 6 at home. And Kevin Durant is going to be, should he be able to go tonight. And all this stuff people are saying about the Warriors. You know what? Let me get into this sidebar really quick. I put a post on my timeline or a comment on one of my posts when I, admitted, the Raptors have proven me wrong. They have proven me wrong. And saying a team. I have a response for that, gentleman, and it goes like this. Curry has been the straw that has stirred the Warriors' drink for 10 seasons. Not Thompson, not Green, not Durant. Curry has. To the gentleman that said Curry cannot carry his team, yes, he has. In more ways than you can imagine. Curry has been the face of the franchise since his arrival from Davidson. And, oh, by the name, gentlemen, who's a friend of mine. But I've got to get this off my chest. Curry can't carry a team, huh? I see 3 world championship rings on his finger. Don't tell me he can't carry a team. And just because he hasn't won a finals MVP yet doesn't mean that he can't carry his team. He has. Now, granted, there's been a bigger difference with Durant being out of the lineup in this championship series and Curry being out of the lineup, but the difference is felt when Curry's out of the lineup. The difference is felt. Toronto needs to close out this series tonight. And on the Warriors side, everybody, every damn body needs to step up and play a role in a comeback beginning tonight. As a matter of fact, as I look up a couple of things here, the Warriors are down, but they're confident. They are absolutely confident. Matter of fact, Klay Thompson, half of the Splash Brothers, spoke about their help in getting Durant back.
It's the hardest part about being an athlete is going through injuries, especially when your team's playing for a championship. It sucks. I feel for Kevin. I know what type of competitor he is, and we obviously miss him dearly. But whether it's tomorrow or Game 6, we just got to do everything in our willpower to help him get back. And if that's win a game and be patient, that we got to go do that.
Klay Thompson talked about enjoying their run.
I just try to enjoy the journey, and it's been a very long one since we've been on this, championship run, and it started way back, 2014. So you wish to have no one in sight, but everything that's great always comes to an end. So whether that's tomorrow or 4 years from now, you never know. That's the beauty of life. So you just got to go out and enjoy every minute you do with the group of guys you got.
But DeMarcus Cousins says, hey, this ain't over.
It's not over. Still got a great chance of winning this series. So we just got to come out and play. Point blank period.
Point blank period. Point blank period. It's not over until someone wins 4 games. But Toronto is that damn close. And see the final game of the series? I enjoyed the run. I sure as hell enjoyed the run. And I'm not complaining one damn bit. Take a pause for the cause, and when we come back, I have a little bit of trivia for you. And I also have the question of the day. And I got a whole lot more stuff as I have Mike DeBate coming on for hour 2. Snowman in the morning, back in a flash. Hey, don't touch that dial wherever and however you're listening. We got more stuff coming up for you in a deuce. We're getting everything recalibrated because we lost our video feed momentarily. Here's a piece of trivia for you, and it concerns Major League Baseball, and it goes like this. There is a certain defensive event that has only occurred in the majors 15 times. It includes Nowitzki and Eric Bruntlett. Here's the question again. There is a certain defensive event that has occurred in the major leagues only 15 times. It includes players such as Asdrubal Cabrera, Troy Tulowitzki, and Eric Bruntlett. What is that sacred event? Give you the answer in a little bit.
Hey, boys and girls, I have a question for you. What are you doing listening to the Talking Heads? Turn on Snowman in the morning for real sports talk. He has the hot takes that will make you melt.
Real cool, man.
Okay. A little bit of confusion going on here as we come to you live from Terre Haute, Indiana at the Terre Haute Starbucks on US 41. Hey, if you're in Terre Haute and you're looking for something to do, then this Wednesday, why don't you join the Terre Haute Walk to End Alzheimer's Committee for cupcakes and drinks at the Red Room Cakery at 2619 Fort Harrison Road here in Terre Haute. Any questions? Call 812-665-4044. That's 812-665-4044. Okay, during the break, I posed a trivia question, and then a Twins fan approached me. Good God. No, I'm kidding. The trivia question was, for all you baseball rats out there is a certain defensive event that has occurred in the majors only 15 times. And it concerns, and some of the players involved include Asdrubal Cabrera, Troy Tulowitzki, and Eric Bruntlett. What is that defensive event? And the answer is an unassisted triple play. An unassisted triple play. Now, to this Twin fan in front of me that's waiting for coffee, she wrote "Go Twins" on a napkin, and I balled it up and I threw it out of here. I posed a question to her. The question goes like this: the Twins are the only team in Major League history to do this twice in the game. That's turn a triple play. The year was 1990 when that happened. Nothing like a little trivia to keep your mind fresh. So Yeah. So, yeah. So much fun when you do baseball trivia to start your day, and then you get greeted by a Twins fan. Oh, by the way, in that same division, there's a certain team on the south side of Chicago that's going to be a problem for y'all in clinching that division. We will see you in August. Yeah. I dare not say Kirby Puckett and get her all right and get her all riled up. Speaking of which, I will say this: I enjoyed the Twins team that won the World Series both in '87 and in '91. And my favorite pitcher on that '91 team, and I think she'll recognize. Well, maybe she won't recognize this game. She couldn't identify 2 triple plays in this thing. No, I'm kidding. And I'm making her laugh. That's the most important thing. I'm joking around while we're waiting for my guest, Mike DeBate, to come on to start the second hour. My favorite pitcher on that 91 team, his name is Jack Morris. And Jack Morris, while I'm dishing out baseball trivia, became the only pitcher to do this. That's fire a 10-inning complete game in a World Series game clincher. Of course, he did that in Game 7 of the 1991 World Series. Okay. Since I can't figure out my video yet while I'm on the air, we're going to take an extended break, and I'm going to figure this doggone thing out. And when we get back, the next voice you hear will be that of one Mike DeBate. We'll talk all things NFC West. Will this finally be the year of the 49ers, or will the Rams continue to rule that division? And I'm not even going to say Skull Vikings in front of this Twins fan and make her laugh and cry even more. I'm gonna mess with this Minnesota fan while we're at a break. Y'all stay tuned. Snowman in the morning, the second half, back in a flash. Hey, don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Second half of Snowman in the Morning coming your way.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
Excellent.
Oh, you can...
The second half of Snowman in the Morning is coming to you live on YouTube as we lost our Facebook live stream, but it did hold up for the better part of the first hour. So we're going YouTube for the second hour, and we got some ish to talk about when it comes to some football. And I'm looking forward to having Mike Debate on in the next 60 seconds to talk all things NFC West. Is this the year of the 49ers, or do the Rams continue to rule this division? I'm getting Mike Debate on right now, but we want to tell you, Snowman in the Morning, the second half is brought to you in part by McDonald's of Terre Haute. Use the code MCDS19 in your Uber Eats app and receive $5 off your very first order. This offer is good until the end of this year. And I got all kinds of people surrounding me because my table has been invaded by the Starbucks staff. And Starbucks of Terre Haute is proud to present the second half of Snowman in the Morning. And I'm proud to present to you Mr. Michael Debate of Full Press Coverage. What's going on, sir?
Brian, how are you, my friend? Always a pleasure to join you on a Monday morning.
Man, lots to talk about, and I will open my mouth and say I hope the Bruins come all the way back on Wednesday night.
Well, you know, the good thing about hockey in this town is I don't have to be objective when I talk about my fandom.
I don't expect you to be.
Absolutely. I mean, I you know, the saying up here is you bleed black and gold till you're dead and cold. And you know what? I think that sum up exactly how Boston fans feel about their Bruins hockey. It was a great win last night for them. Definitely glad that this thing is going 7. Each team has played, you know, phenomenal. You know, things have got chippy. There's no question about it. There's definitely a lot of bad blood right now between these two teams, but it's going to make for an amazing Game 7 on Wednesday night. TD Garden is going to be electric. It's the first Game 7 that we've had here in Boston since 1984, so you know the fans are going to be ready to go, and you know the Blues are going to come ready to play. They're definitely not going to lay down and just make this a celebration. There's going to be a game, and nobody up here is taking anything for granted, believe me.
1984, Celtics-Lakers, Game 7. I watched that game live with my parents, and that cemented the friendship and the rivalry of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, and that was one hell of a Game 7. If my numbers are correct, I believe the final was 111-102 Boston, and Boston played out of their
absolutely.
They played out of their minds in that
very
7
good.
game.
In the rivalry, the Celtics struck first, but the Lakers laughed last. So, you know, we kind of look at that and we say, you know what, we take it with a grain of salt, but that was an amazing series and really set the tone for, I think, the greatest rivalry in NBA history between the Celtics and Lakers and between Bird and Magic. You know, individually, I mean, those two guys were so evenly matched. Phenomenal. You know, so absolutely, like I said, we're looking forward to a great Game 7 up here in Wednesday, and you know, it's again in Boston. You never take anything for granted. We've seen both sides of the spectrum so many times, so we're expecting a fight. I know the Bruins are expecting a fight coming up here, so it's going to be a great one. Just looking forward to it.
That ground is going to shake in TD Garden. Now, speaking of shaking ground, let's get to the ground of the NFC West. And we've talked on and off air about all the moves that were made by a particular team in the Bay, the San Francisco 49ers. And the question I posed in the tease up to this, is this the year, should they stay healthy, that the 49ers make a move in the division to snatch it, or do the Rams continue to rule? Let's break the teams down, and we'll save the 49ers for last because we've talked about them ad nauseum. Let's start with the defending champions in the Los Angeles Rams.
Well, you know, one thing about this division, before we get you know, going too quickly on the Rams, this may be one of the most hotly contested divisions in all of the NFL this year. Oh, yeah. You're looking at 3 teams that I think have the ability to contend for the division title, and you can't say that about a lot of the divisions in the NFL. But this one, I think there are 3 teams that legitimately could make a run in the Seahawks, the Rams, and the 49ers, absolutely. And you're also taking a look at the Arizona Cardinals, who have made vast improvements from last year. I don't think they'll be in contention for a division title, but to say that they're going to be the guaranteed win, quote unquote, and that might be a little harsh, but to say that they're going to be the pushover of the division the way they were last year, is probably an inaccurate statement. It's going to be a much tougher out than it was last year. So great opportunities for all these teams involved to really contend. This is going to be a great and fun division to watch.
Can't
you know,
wait
the
to get
Rams
going.
are definitely, and the Rams were the representative in the Super Bowl. You know, there's no question about it. They were number 5 in pass offense, DVOA, which for those of you that don't know, that's defensive valued over average. And essentially what that means is that the Los Angeles Rams, when you take a look in pass offense and in run offense, they are really the class of the division when it comes to offense at this time right now. And you look at what they've been able to do. They didn't need to really rock the boat in the off season, and they did. Their biggest addition, believe it or not, in 2019 could be the return of Cooper Kupp. I think this was a different offense than you saw, last year leading up to that, and I think it hindered them a little bit in the Super Bowl without question. You know, Brandon Cooks is still an explosive wide receiver. You know, Todd Gurley, his health is definitely something that's always a concern, but Cooper Kupp coming back, giving Jared Goff another weapon to be able to utilize is huge in this situation. They did lose Roger Saffold. There's no question about it. Ndamukong Suh is going to be a key loss for these guys as well. However, I do like the additions of Eric Weddle, and I do like the addition of Clay Matthews on the edge. Clay is definitely not the same player he was years ago. However, he's still a very veteran-savvy ball player, and he can definitely add some aggressiveness to this defense, which we didn't see a whole lot of in the playoffs last year. I think that was one of their Achilles heels heading into this. So you take a look at the Rams, I think they're definitely going to be fine. Their offseason was stellar. I wouldn't say it was blockbuster, but I wouldn't say it was a bad offseason either. Aaron Donald, obviously, that defense is going to go as far as they take him. He is a phenomenal player, perhaps arguably the best defensive player in the league. So the D-line is not going to be as ferocious without, a guy like Sue put alongside him. But at this point, I think it's still their division until they're ready to give it away. And there are 2 teams that we're about to talk about very shortly that are going to be in prime position to try to take that division away from them. But I still give the Los Angeles Rams a slight edge simply because of their veteran savvy and the fact that they've been there before. And the talent they have on both sides of the ball is undeniable.
To the Pacific Northwest and the Seattle Seahawks.
Well, the Seahawks, losing Frank Clark is a hurt for them. There's no question about that. You take a look at losing. These have been guys that, have been a part of that defense for quite some time. Well, even though they haven't played much in the last, couple of years, it's very, very difficult to replicate what they bring to this team. Justin Coleman has really emerged as one of the league's finest slot corners in Seattle. I think that is also a big blow. So Seattle is going to take a little bit of a step back. However, you look at what this team has been able to do, and I really like what they did in the draft. I really like what these guys were able to do in the draft. DK Metcalf, obviously, with the final pick of round 2 was huge for them, and he's going to definitely add some pop to the offense. With a guy like Russell Wilson, we know we're going to be seeing him in Seattle for the foreseeable future, with everything that he brought to the table. LJ Collier, helping to shore up a little bit on the edge, with the loss of Frank Clark, that definitely kind of negates that loss a little bit. So I look for a good season from the Seattle Seahawks. This is a very interesting team. If they can put together some of the young talent that they have, they can definitely make a run at the division. If it's an up and down year and they kind of have difficulty gelling as a team, it's going to be a long season in Seattle, and I don't think it'll land them in the cellar in this division, but they could be number 3 looking up at 2 very formidable teams. So a lot of it's going to determine as to how Pete Carroll and the coaching staff is going to be able to bring the Seahawks together. But, a very, very good draft for them. But free agency and adding veteran pieces, the jury's still out on this team. I would look for them to be very active in trying to bring in a veteran piece here or there when you start to see some of these cutdowns in training camp.
Let's go to the desert and take a look at the Arizona Cardinals.
Well, the Cardinals, in terms of the Cardinals being the most improved team this year, I think that there's definitely something to be said about that, because when you've had the type of season that they've had, you really don't have far to go but up. You really don't have many other ways to go but up. So, Arizona did make a lot of additions. I mean, you talk about Robert Alford for the corner. on the edge. This is a guy that, regardless of how much you think he has left in the tank, Terrell Suggs has seen it all and done it all and been there. So this is a guy that can bring a lot of veteran leadership, bring a lot of stability to a defense that desperately needed some. There's absolutely no question about it. I really like the addition of tight end Charles Clay to this team. Charles Clay was a guy in Buffalo covering the New England Patriots that you always kept your eye on during the weeks that were leading up to the Buffalo game. It was a dynamic playmaker against the Patriots. Got to credit Bill Belichick and his defensive coaching staff, Brian Flores last year, obviously, and Matt Patricia in previous years, for keeping him in check. But this is a guy that, if he can develop a good synergy with Kyler Murray, I really like the way they're going to be able to do business there. Also, Andy Isabella, Hakeem Butler, two very under-the-radar acquisitions for them via the draft. I really like their addition to the wide receiving core. Look, Arizona is not going to be the division, champion right off the bat. There's no question about it. It's going to take a little while for them to build, but the fit for Kyler Murray to be able to play in a Cliff Kingsbury situation is going to allow him to grow in a way that I don't think he would have been able to in many other NFL teams. So they'll be a lot of fun to watch, but I still think they're at least a year or two away from starting to put these pieces together and contend for a division title.
And last but not least, the wildest of the wild cards in this division, the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, it is so early to go out on a limb here and say that, I'm picking a team to win the division. I mean, unless you're pretty well sure, like we chronicled the AFC East a couple of weeks ago, and that really is the Patriots division until someone unseats them. Again, there's nothing guaranteed. There's injuries and things that can happen to teams, and you never, ever are able to tell. But if there's a team that I'm looking at right now that really has the best chance to dethrone the division leader in the NFL, I'm looking squarely at the 49ers right now, knocking on the door of the Los Angeles Rams and saying, hey, we're here, we're healthy this year, and that's the big key. If they remain healthy, this team has got weapons on both sides of the ball. I think they've had a terrific offseason, and they really did it without adding a multitude of new players, if you think about it. Dee Ford was arguably their latest biggest splash.
Right.
And he's going to be a real fascinating contract year case study. Ford is a guy that has a tremendous amount of upside. He struggled a little bit, at times, and there have been some issues, but I really, really do like what he brings to the table. And that motivation of playing for a contract, I think, could be huge. Look, there's no question about it. Bringing in Quan Alexander, bringing in Tevin Coleman, bringing in Jordan Matthews, giving Jimmy Garoppolo some well-needed, firepower to add to an already formidable offensive roster of skill position, to me, is huge. They really haven't suffered a whole lot of losses. I mean, arguably their biggest loss was losing Cassius Marsh on the edge, which is not catastrophic for this team. That's no disrespect to Cassius, but
right.
I mean, they positioned themselves very well to be able to fill that void. I mean, drafting a guy like Nick Bosa to take his place on the edge, I think is an automatic upgrade.
It is.
And Bosa hasn't played an NFL down yet. So, the thing that impressed me the most about the San Francisco 49ers, and we talked about this right after the draft, they didn't not only bring in Deebo Samuel, who I was enamored with when I was looking at possible wide receiving targets for the New England Patriots, saying nothing of the fact that I am very impressed with N'Keal Harry, and I think that was a great move for them. But Samuel was someone I scouted very heavily and would have loved to have seen what he could have done up here in New England. Not only that, but a guy like Jalen Hurd going under the radar. Hurd, I think, is possibly one of the gems and the steals of this draft. He's got all the keys to be able to put things together and make what he needs to make this into a very formidable offense. And again, Tevin Coleman, we've talked a lot about Tevin Coleman. I really, really love his addition to this team as well. I think he's a perfect fit with Kyle Shanahan. So when you take a look at the San Francisco 49ers, I think they've had as solid as an offseason as any team out there. Add that into, of course, the return of a healthy Jimmy Garoppolo. This is going to be a fun team to watch in the Bay Area, and I think they can really, really put some pressure on the Rams this year for that division title.
And you have to remember their running game is going to get an upgrade with Jerick McKinnon returning from injury, and also the running back that has become their bell cow in Matt Breida.
Absolutely. And, I mean, you can't say enough about, the guys that that they've have on roster as well. We've talked a lot about the new guys that they've brought in, but this is a team that had a lot of great. I mean, we haven't even mentioned George Kittle, who was one of the best tight ends in the league, and we haven't even mentioned him yet. We just did, but I mean, we haven't really even mentioned him in terms of his impact on the team and developing that synergy between himself and Jimmy Garoppolo. And you heard a lot about what Jimmy had said in the offseason and developing that relationship with Kittle, a la Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. You see Patrick Mahomes doing the same thing with Travis Kelce in Kansas City. That is such an important battery. It's almost right now as equal or maybe even greater than having that synergy with your top wide receiver, is being in sync with your tight end, because the tight end is not only responsible for going out catching passes in the open field, but also blocking and setting the tone on the offensive line. That, to me, is going to be an interesting dynamic to watch this year. If you're a 49ers fan, keep a very sharp eye on training camp and seeing the relationship, the budding relationship between Jimmy Garoppolo and George Kittle. I'm looking forward to watching this team this year.
This is going to be so much fun, and as a longtime 49er fan, for the first time in a while, there's a lot of excitement with the 49ers and their fans, and you mentioned the key thing to all of this. Coming into this season, the 49ers are healthy, and that is a dangerous prospect for the rest of the division.
That is absolutely correct. I mean, this is a team that was decimated with injury last year, and one of the big reasons why they slipped so far. There were a lot of high hopes for the 49ers last year.
Right.
I think they're a little bit higher this year when you talk about what the types of additions that they've made, the rookies, and doing what they've done to build a roster. So I think people are higher on the 49ers this year at this time than they were last year. But a lot of people were looking at it and saying they could challenge Seattle, they can challenge the Rams, they might be able to make some noise. Nobody thought that they would have been in division, or close to it. So I think this is going to be a very hotly contested division this year. I think you have three teams capable of making a run at the division title. And again, the Arizona Cardinals can definitely play spoiler, and they're going to open some eyes this year. I think they're going to be a little bit better than people think. They have a shot to really be a fun offensive team to watch in the right situation.
That's our look at the NFC West. Mike DeBate joins me each and every week to talk all things NFL. And next week we'll go north. There's a team in that division whose city starts with a C, ends with an O, with a Hickok in the middle, and it's kind of like my hometown. We'll preview the Bears and the rest of that division next week. Mike DeBate, find him on Full Press Coverage at fullpresscoverage.com, along with my buddy Ian Glendon and all of our rowdy friends at Full Press Coverage, a proud streaming partner of Snowman in the Morning. Thanks a lot, my friend. A pleasure as always, and go Bruins for Game 7.
Absolutely. Go Bruins for Game 7, Brian. Thank you. And just indulge me for one moment. I just want to take a quick minute to send out sincere well wishes and sincere prayers for a speedy and full recovery for Red Sox slugger, the legend up here, David Ortiz, who was involved in a senseless crime last night. And all reports are that he is on the mend. He is still he's still, recovering, and there's still a long way to go for his recovery, but it looks like right now that he will be able to make a full recovery. So thank God that was the case.
Right.
David is one of the most beloved athletes in Boston history, up here especially right now. You mentioned the word David Ortiz, and everybody in Boston just smiles. It's an unbelievable thing when you're an athlete for someone to just have such a warm impact on this community. So sad and just scary last night when that news broke. But sending continued prayers and well wishes to David,
Absolutely.
his wife Tiffany, his family, just everybody, up here in Boston. We're all pulling for you, as is everybody in the nation, because regardless of your rooting interest, even Yankees fans, we're tweeting their undying support for David Ortiz.
Absolutely.
He's one of those guys that transcends the game. And you saw that when he retired, getting a standing ovation in Yankee Stadium. He's just a guy that you can't help but love. And we send nothing but love to him in his recovery. So Godspeed, David. We wish you all the best.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian. Have a great one, my friend.
We send our love and prayers to Big Papi as well. And our prayers that he does indeed continue to make a speedy recovery and get back into being the ambassador that he is. And as Mike DeBate said, no matter what your rooting interest, you cannot mention David Ortiz without having a smile on your face. The way he played the game, the way he supported the game, and the way that he is just an ambassador, as I mentioned, for the game of baseball. Snowman in the Morning, presented in part by Dr. Sheikah's Flavor Mixes. Dr. Sheikah's goal is to help you create delicious desserts that are made from the finest and natural ingredients. The homemade taste will remind you of the good old days. She offers a variety of fun flavors and colors in our all-in-one flavor mixes or our ready-to-eat sweet potato pies. Visit drsheikhasflavormixes.com. Order today. Free shipping on all orders. drsheikhasflavormixes.com. Taste the difference. And speaking of taste, we're also presented by Those Cookies. Visit them online at thisecookies.com. Whether it's the chocolate chip, the peanut butter, or the red velvet cookie crumble. Oh, dear God, those are delicious. Gluten-free and healthy, and you never thought you'd say that about cookies until now. Those Cookies. Visit them online at thisecookies.com. Can't stop eating. Yum. And I am a proud supporter and a proud advocate for those cookies. Those cookies. Got more stuff for you. Snowman in the Morning, the second half thereof, will return in a flash.
Hey, boys and girls, I have a question for you. What are you doing listening to the Talking Heads? Turn on Snowman in the morning for real sports talk. He has the hot takes that will make you melt.
What? That's a spicy meatball!
Second half of Snowman in the Morning rolls on from Terre Haute, Indiana. It's brought to you by McDonald's of Terre Haute. Use the code MCDS19 in your Uber Eats app and receive $5 off your very first order. This offer's good until the end of the year. I got a complaint. A playful one. But I got a complaint nonetheless from a friend of mine saying, hey, you don't talk about enough baseball. Okay, fine. I was paying attention to the Nationals-Padres game yesterday while I was at work. It was 1-1 in the 8th inning. And then something weird happened. Howie Kendrick did this.
To the wide. The kick and the pitch. Breaking ball hit in the air to deep left field. This is way back. This one is going. It's gone. Goodbye. Off the scoreboard, the facing of the second level in left center field. Howie Kendrick, with his second pinch hit home run of the year, has given the Nationals the lead here in the top of the 8th inning. Bang! Zoom goes Kendrick with another big hit. And he homers off Craig Stammen, who's been outstanding in relief for the Padres this year. It's the Nationals 2 and the Padres 1.
Oh, but the Nationals weren't done. Trey Turner did this.
Now the wind of the pitch. Turner swings, belts one to deep center field. Margot going back, way back of the warning track of the wall. This one is gone. Goodbye. Back-to-back home runs for the Nationals. First Kendrick, and now Trey Turner with a bomb over the center field fence for his 4th home run of the year. And the Nationals have a 2-run lead here now on the top of the 8th inning. Bang! Zoom goes Turner. It's the Nationals 3 and the Padres 1.
And they weren't even done yet. Adam Eaton said, hey, I want a piece of that.
Turner 4 home runs, 12 RBIs as Eaton belts one. Deep right center field. Margot back, way back. It is gone. Goodbye. Just over the wall at the 396-foot marker to the right of dead center field. And for the first time this year, the Nationals have gone back to back to back with 3 solo home runs in a row, stunning this crowd of just over 30,000 at Petco Park. Bang, zoom goes Adam Eaton with his 6th home run of the year. It's the Nationals 4 and the Padres 1.
But then Anthony Rendon said, wait a minute. Everybody else can't hit one, and I can't hit one.
Now the pitch to Rendon, belted to the air to deep right. Back goes Reyes, way back, going. It is gone. Goodbye. Unbelievable. The Nationals have hit back home runs.
Yeah, you missed that one? Here it is again.
Now the pitch to Rendon, belted to the air to deep right. Back goes Reyes, way back, going. It is gone. Goodbye. 2. 4 consecutive batters have hit home runs. Bang, zoom goes Rendon. It's the Nationals 5 and the Padres.
Yeah, 5-1, and that was the final score. And I bring all that up to say that the Nationals are the first team in Major League history to hit 4 consecutive home runs twice. I believe that to be the case. I'm depending on my producer extraordinaire, Mr. Shane Lake, and there's a lot of things I haven't mentioned yet. I'll do that in a moment. There's a lot of I'm depending on my producer Shane Lake, confirm or give me the correct stat of that. Speaking of winning, one of my favorite teams is the Nationals. My team is the Chicago White Sox. And Eloy Jimenez got them started yesterday with this.
There's a swing and a long one to center field. This is going to go for a home run. This is a mammoth shot to center over the fountain. It's 8th, and the Sox lead 1-0.
Well, Charlie Tilson said, hey, I better pad that lead for our pitcher.
1-0 Sox in the pitch. Line to left field, down the line. Could be something special. Fair ball. Pinballs around. Yomer around third. He's being waved in. The throw coming home. Safe at home plate on the double by Charlie Tilson. The White Sox get a second run with 2 outs here in the second and lead 2-0.
Well, it was 2-1, and then Yoan Moncada did this.
A 1-1 the count. Not spitball in here. The 0-1. Line to the gap, left center. That's going to be a run producer. Over to get it Hamilton. Moncada with a wide turn puts the brakes on. One scoring single. Sox add on and now lead by 2 at 3-1.
Weren't done yet. Tim Anderson got a hand on matters in the 8th inning.
1-1 the count with 2 down to 1-1. Swinging a line drive right center field. This is going to split the gap. That's got 3 written all over it. Anderson on his way to second. Pulls up at second as Merrifield got on that ball in a hurry.
Slider left up and delivered to the gap. Beautiful swing by Tim Anderson, who's had 3 really good at-bats today, picking up his second hit of the game, and he now has 29 runs batted in with that double.
5-2, the final score. The White Sox seem to be getting their act back together. They take 2 of 3 in Kansas City, a place that usually gives them a lot of problems. Snowman in the Morning brought to you in part by, those cookies, the home to the chocolate chip, the peanut butter, and the red velvet crunch. The key to all this, they're all gluten-free. Visit thosecookies.com. Well, Edwin Encarnacion, one of my favorite sluggers, had a very good moment yesterday, and it sounded like this.
5-1 Mariners in the 7th. Encarnacion ready. Here comes the pitch. Santana takes off, swinging a deep fly ball. Is this number 400? It is ticketed for the fence. It is back, and it is gone. Number 400 for Edwin Encarnacion, who pumps both fists as he rounds first base. Already a standing applause inside the Mariners dugout. Number 400 for Edwin Encarnacion comes in Southern California in the 7th inning against the Angels. Congratulations, one of the great home run hitters of all time, Edwin Encarnacion. It comes in a Mariners uniform.
Edwin Encarnacion with number 400. Rick Riz on the call for KIRO. Charlie Slows and Dave Jagler on the call for the Nationals home runs, courtesy of their flagship station, WJFK. And Ed Farmer and Darren Jackson for my beloved Chicago White Sox. WGN Radio is their radio home. Man, I've had a fun time this morning. I hope you all have had a fun time, too, as we're working with some video, getting some things together. And we're going to take one final break. And when we come back, we're just going to put a bow on this bad boy. As we're live on YouTube, we're going to find a way. We found a way, just have to test it, to stream to Facebook and to YouTube and have a lot of fun doing it and correct some things while we're along the way. We had an extended break in the first half of the show because we lost our Facebook live feed. But at the same time, I'll say it again, but at the same time, you know something? It's good to figure out what the hell we're doing. It's good to figure it out and improve on it. For the first time in a while, able to do some video without interruptions. I love it. I absolutely love it. We'll close things out when we get back Snowman in the morning, gonna close up shop in a deuce.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where...
Down the stretch we come on this Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning, brought to you in part by McDonald's of Terre Haute, and also presented in part by Starbucks of Terre Haute. Thank you to all that have tuned us in this morning. I'll tell you what, it has been a groundbreaking morning for old Snowman, because I didn't think I would figure out this video puzzle I've been trying to put together for the longest time, for the better part of 3 years. I've tried all different kinds of methods, and that's not being facetious, that's just being true. I've tried all different kinds of methods, taken all kinds of ideas, and I'm going, how the hell can I catch up with everybody and eventually pass them? Well, this morning proved to be a start, as I did some testing late last night after I got home from work. And, to a certain troll, I actually do work, unlike you. But I digress. And it seems that everything is held up. Now, in the midst of the show, we had to go from Facebook Live to YouTube. But I think I figured out a way to do them both. I'm going to do some more testing after I get off the air here, and we're going to get it all. We're going to get it all figured out. We're going to get it all figured out, and that's my good message for the day. Keep plugging away. Keep plugging away at whatever you're doing, because that breakthrough is going to happen. Today's show brought to you in part by McDonald's of Terre Haute. Use the code MCDS19 in your Uber Eats app and receive $5 off your very first order. This offer is good until the end of the year. We're also presented by Game Day Guide, providing sports fans the travel capabilities and ticket essentials to support their favorite team while they play under the pressure of away games. Remember, there is no such thing as an away game with Game Day Guide. Visit them online at game-day-guide.com. We are also presented in part by Dr. Chica's Flavor Mixes. Dr. Chica's goal is to help you create delicious desserts that are made from the finest natural ingredients. The homemade taste will remind you of the good old days. She offers a variety of fun flavors and colors in our all-in-one flavor mixes or our ready-to-eat sweet potato pies. Visit drchicasflavormixes.com. Order today. Free shipping on all orders. drchicasflavormixes.com. Taste the difference. You can find us on iTunes, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Spotify, Breaker, Stitcher, and YouTube as we are this morning, as well as Facebook Live. And if you're looking for something to do in Terre Haute, remember this Wednesday, the Terre Haute Walk to End Alzheimer's Committee invites you to come enjoy cupcakes and drinks on Wednesday, June 12th, at the Red Room Cakery, 2619 Fort Harrison Road in Terre Haute. Call 812-665-4044. Keep plugging away at whatever you're doing. You'll find that solution if you keep working hard enough and continue to put in the work. I had a friend ask me once, do I watch the show Empire? Nope, because I'm busy creating one, and I hope y'all are too. I hope y'all are too. That's why I can't watch that show. Too busy building one. Until tomorrow, have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move, and always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, then they are not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. And I hope y'all are too. Till tomorrow, Snowman out.